everybody, and welcome to Mondoid, your one-stop shop for all things Project Zomboid. I think I have the mic out of the shot this time, which is good. That way I won't focus on it. Bam. Much more focused. There's actually a lot to go over this week, and this week has got a good chunk of information for everybody to digest, and I think we should just kind of dive right into it. They talk about what a lot of the stuff I wanted to talk about initially, particularly a lot about the metagame and NPCs and what everybody's been up to. Last week they talked how they were all kind of getting together for the first time in a long time, like face-to-face, to kind of talk out what their next plans were. So let's just jump right over to the webpage, which is, for me, it's over there. It's over there, and I'm thinking it'll be over there for you too. It could be over there. I think it's over there. Either way, jump in. Right away, Shazam report. Whatever that means. Basically, they're kind of just welcoming you, saying hello, hello, hello. Just talking about how they all got to see each other. All good stuff. Let's get to the good shit. First, we're going to have a few paragraphs by Will. Basically, what he's saying here is he's talking a little bit about how he's going back into the efforts of writing story, writing Kate and Baldspot's tutorial, a lot of NPC chit-chat, a lot of, typical shouting chatter that you're going to have NPCs doing. He says, for a start, there's an increasingly full-fledged metagame system that Chris will explain in this Shazam summary. Now we have a firmer grip on exactly how long people generally survive in PZ. 2, and I am adapting the radio broadcast I wrote right at the start. Now, if we all remember, the tutorial at the very beginning, you could probably still play it if you download the 1.5D demo version of the game, where you're upstairs in the bedroom with Kate. Yeah, she has you put on the radio. You're gonna go cook dinner. As you're cooking dinner, you hear the radio going off, and it kind of has these kind of it's talking kind of interestingly. But one of the things I was excited for, and I still am, we're gonna drop this camera a little bit, is is over time what was originally supposed to be implemented in the game was the radios you're supposed to be able to find, and you could tune in and listen to radio broadcasts, and depending on how long you had survived, certain broadcasts would play, all these kind of cool, neat features. And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, those features weren't fully implemented or even really implemented at all. Now, Will's saying he was actually writing the scripts for all of that a long time ago, but of course, that all got pushed aside for bigger and better things, such as better graphics, stabilization of the game, adding features that people wanted, basically making a game that was playable and fun for all the people who bought into the alpha. And, fought off a yawn there. That was, I thought about eating my cat like you guys had said I should do, and that worked. So he's getting back into writing those things, and he's basically, they're timing them a bit better, basically how long into the days, or et cetera, that, you should hear certain broadcasts, if that made sense. And, at one point he intends, which I'm fingers crossed, because this sounds awesome, is, to have a range of radio stations and television stations to tune into, each providing snippets of news-based panic before everything goes ominously dead. Now, I say this is exciting because whenever I hear this kind of stuff, and it's just the way I play, I can't help but think of how would this affect me as I played now? What would this do? How would I change the way I play? And I would probably take a chunk out of my character's day and divert that and invest that into listening to the radio every day, because it's all part of that emergent story aspect that this game kind of has to rely on, right? This has to have, we done blurring focus there? This game obviously relies on an emergent story, and I've nailed that point home a lot. That what kind of propels this game into the amount of fun it has for something that's so slow paced is the stories that come out of it. One day, after my 1.5 week routine where I feel really, really safe doing it, after having so much, feeling so safe doing X activity every week, I suddenly get trapped by zombies and I die. That kind of story is what propels this game into the exciting kind of features that it has right now. So I'm really excited about that. He's basically he's getting back into that. Again, I could talk about all that for a long time. Just thinking about having a new plan for my character. What is he going to do every day? How does he live his life? He wakes up, he eats some chips or whatever's in the fridge if he has anything, or if the fridge is off at that point. He turns on the radio that's battery powered because the electricity is down, and he's on his last set of batteries, and he's listening to the news, desperately hoping, shaking the radio, hoping he's going to hear that some sort of saving grace is coming his way. The military is coming down to Muldrow or whatever, and that news never comes. And having to kind of live and survive in that world, and adding that kind of depth to that world, is really, really exciting. He also says that beyond that, the existing work on the Kate and Baldspot script needs an update to teach new players about fun stuff, introduce them to new builds. Basically, he needs to redo the tutorial, talk about smashing windows, hopping fences, the new contextual menu, the E button, all this stuff. So that's what Will's been up to. Let's go to Lemmy and talk about what Chris has been up to. So this is exciting because this is the stuff that I personally am the most excited for. As exciting as the radio broadcasts and stuff are, because it is going to make the game. It's basically adding the cherry on top of the cake, or the ice cream or whatever you want to say. Because the meat of it all, everything that we're waiting for right now, is what Lemmy's about to talk about. NPCs, metagame, and something else. Anyway, he talks about 3 things. And he's talking about the metagame, he's talking about the NPCs, and that third thing. And he basically talks about how they have this new program here that allows them to very, very easily, or at least temporarily for the short-term kind of focus, quickly develop flowcharts that can be directly read in by the game. So, as far as I understand, my limited knowledge of programming is you can develop all these flowcharts, and then in those flowcharts that can be loaded up into the game, and the game understands it and knows what it wants to do and can go through that. So they said the results that they've tested have been very exciting, saying certain things work. A lot of this is going to be kind of factored into the NPCs so that the NPCs know what to do if certain situations come up. One of the things he talks about that actually I want to kind of cover real quick is that he's not entirely sure, or actually this might be in the Binky section, so let me hold on 1 second. Other things is what they plan on doing for modders is to not worry about this particular program they're using, because they are going to give you the tools necessary to mod the game and add story and dialogue or whatever. This is basically for them to get the game up and running to a particular point where we're playing it with NPCs, where we're playing it with the metagame, up to a more complete point, and this is kind of giving them the leverage and the kind of quick ability to do that. So as I'm not worried. It even says modders need not worry as a whole other kind of, what do you call it, paragraph there. So that's exciting. I'm really excited to see that. He's also saying that Will, looking at the mountain of Will's dialogue that Ringo Diaz scripted up, it's very exciting how quickly we should be able to get that right in. So that's really exciting. He says short NPCs have dedicated. So 3 members of the team are now working on NPCs 100% of their development time. No, they're not going to give us a time scale as to when that is, when we're going to see NPCs yet. Or this is what I was talking about. Actually, this isn't in the Binky. This is actually the last paragraph. This is what I wanted to touch on. That I thought I was in the Binky phase. But they're not sure if they're going to do a full release that is going to include metagame, NPCs, and Kate and Baldspot, or if they're going to do that kind of fractioned out. Now, originally I thought that NPCs and metagame were all in one, but it sounds like what they might want to do is release it in kind of different, like, staggered releases and get NPCs in the game earlier than that without the metagame, kind of put them in as they used to be, as I used to have to deal with them, and I'm kind of okay with that. The reason being, it adds that element of uncertainty to the game. No longer am I sitting there going, there's no NPCs around, I don't have to worry about anything. If there's a horde outside my, there could be a horde a mile away from my house, and I'm not worrying about it. But then an NPC causes some shit, and he ends up dragging the horde all the way to my safe house, and that adds another layer of unpredictability and survivability that you need to kind of account for when you're playing the game. So I'm all for that. Other things that kind of wrapping up this particular thing is that the West Point map is underway. They have basically given the basic landmass over to MASH at this point for her to populate it with buildings and whatnot. They actually could see some water off in the corner if you take a look at the map, that there's going to be some water added, and it looks exciting. Another huge chunk of the map to be added to the game should make it all the more fun to explore, of course. And MASH is basically saying that she's getting to work on all the buildings, some new buildings like a state house that we could hole up in, a lot of cool stuff basically down the pipeline, and all of them doing an excellent job. I'm personally excited to see the new buildings, always looking for a new safe house that I could dedicate my life and death to this game, and I'll be sure not to do what Spiffo is doing and running freely and gaily through the fields of happiness while zombies are chasing my tail. Anyway, that'll be your Mondoid for this week. A lot of cool updates talking about the metagame and NPCs is something I'm excited for. Good to hear that Will is working on dialogue as well to get this kind of fleshed out feel once the core of the game is implemented. And I personally, as always, cannot wait to see this thing in full swing. Thank you guys for swinging by. If you're one of those weekly viewers, I hope to see you next week. If you are not a weekly viewer, I will see you later today or tomorrow. And until then, I will see you all next time.